Okay.
She's nice and frosty.
All right, bartender.
Cheers.
Cheers to success. This episode is brought to you by
Tres Graves Blanco.
Well, I meant like winning or
Oh. Look, I'm like this.
Authenticity.
Does she mean what we're drinking?
Yeah.
Yes. This episode is sponsored by Authenticity.
I was gonna say I'm gonna scoot it back, but I think I just need to scoot back.
Nope,
I need to
No, sit back because I want us to sit back.
It's just a headroom.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, it does seem a little. Okay, yeah. That's perfect. Okay. Then I'm gonna go back like this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Okay, stop fucking up here.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Okay, this is wine. Just want to kind of clean up a little.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pleased with that.
Yeah.
Okay, people.
We're here again.
We are here.
Welcome back.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's the TNT Podcast.
Another episode of the TNT Podcast.
TNT.
I am T.
And I am TC.
Thank you for joining us once again.
And I have my knees out. You know what I'm saying? It's hot.
She'd have put her knees out.
It's hot outside.
It is like
it's 90. A heat wave.
It is so hot. Everybody always literally be like, Cleveland. What?
Right.
I'm like, no, honey, we get all 4 seasons.
Yeah, all 4. Very strong in each one.
Strong in each one has their own personality. Sometimes one of them likes to spill over into the other.
Yeah, especially this century with the effects of the climate changing, the global warming, the erosion of the what's that layer? The ozone layer.
The ozone layer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we was learning about that in school.
We was learning about it
in the 80s and the 90s.
We were 100%.
Yeah,
there are many people. I don't know if Lear came home and talked about the ozone layer.
Yeah, well, I know when we were in college, we had Al Gore talking about. I mean, he really made it a big issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was because that was his run. That was a part of his actual campaign.
Yeah, the environment. But yeah, it's hot AF.
It is hot outside, but shout out to the summertime. I heard somebody say on Twitter, actually, summertime is really the worst season. Somebody said that. It was like, it's really not. And everybody kept saying fall and winter. And now I used to say that based off of clothing. Like, because I'm a layer girl, honey. Let's layer it up. Okay, honey. I love a hoodie with a trench coat.
That's why
with a ball cap, honey.
With a trench coat,
honey. Listen, I love it. That is my thing. Okay, honey. I'm gonna layer it.
I can see that. I can see you in that right now.
Because that's my thing. So literally, but when it comes out to summertime, also too because I was born in the summer. People always say it's like because kids are off out of school, trips, different things like that. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I would say, like, I think because we come from Cleveland, I can speak for myself. All 4 seasons is a need.
Yeah, I think. I mean, how can you appreciate the weather? Like, if you live in LA, it's basically summer all the time,
all day, every day.
So, I don't know how much in LA, and I just say LA because it is kind of dry, but it's also got the ocean right there.
Yeah.
They have palm trees, but there are other like we have a lot of deciduous trees where the leaves change.
Yeah.
I wonder if palm trees. See, I gotta look that up. See. I gotta look that up. Got to do my research.
That's what we do.
Do palm tree leaves change colors throughout the season or throughout their life? As
I don't think so.
You know, the trees here native to the forested.
I do not
Great
believe
Lakes.
that they do.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna definitely come back next week, and we're gonna tell you what the answer is. And I'm sure you guys will be gladly to correct us and put it in the comments and say, no, they don't, or yes, they do. How ignorant are you?
Yeah, but I love the cooler times of the year.
Okay.
Fall. The end of summer is typically a blazing.
It really is
annoying.
It gets pretty hot.
And I feel the end of summer to me is not September, it's August.
Like, yeah, it is.
Because September is the shift. It begins to...
you start getting that 60, 50.
And I'm of the generation where we started school after Labor Day.
We did. It was like that next weekend of September or that first week in September.
Yeah, the week... Either you... Well...
Might have been.
My school started the Wednesday after Labor Day, and then a lot of schools would start the week after. Because it's a full week.
Because I think that's what we did. Yeah. We started that week after, and we started that whole full week.
Yeah,
that was during like my elementary days. Because I don't, I guess maybe too in high school. Yeah, we didn't go back until after that.
Until September. Yeah,
I think maybe slowly but surely during those times is when it started to kind of creep up. And then August was and then that's when too we started getting the year-round schools.
Okay,
where
did you do that? Because I was so jealous. I wanted to do that so bad.
I never knew really what it was until I got to college and was meeting other people from different areas who went to year-round schools, and it was like, oh no, we had like breaks and. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fall breaks, winter breaks, summer breaks. You know what I'm saying? Spring breaks. They had a break in every season.
Yeah, it was like 3 months on, 1 month off.
Yep.
Throughout the whole year. And I know they were doing it in Florida in high school. I was on the newspaper and I did a story about it.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, wow, you can do this another way. But shout out to Florida, shout out to Ohio for keeping it traditional. But shout out to the current today Florida for wanting to turn back the hands of time and delete history. Remember all that controversy a couple years ago with Florida, basically deleting the curriculum, the AP African American history curriculum.
I definitely know what you're talking about, but I didn't know it was specifically.
So that was Florida. It was specifically at that time. That was where it was a big storm of what's the word you like to use?
Influx.
What? It'll come to me later.
Because honey, I got many of them.
Many phrases.
Many phrases,
and
y'all.
You will find them soon on T-shirts, mugs, hats, and the like in the TNT merchandise shop.
Tell y'all, we're going to give y'all little lanterns. That is something that I really want to provide.
A lantern?
Lanterns.
Okay.
I don't know why I have become obsessed with lanterns.
Lanterns?
Lanterns.
Like the lights?
Yeah, the lights, lanterns.
Yeah, let's be the light. Bring the light.
And I don't know why, but I'm like this, honey, I'm going to roll with it. My spirit be feeling really,
yes,
honey, we got all things.
The things. But the hullabaloo is I'll say that.
Okay.
Around, not DEI, but critical race theory.
Okay.
When all of that began.
Yeah.
And we were, all embroiled. And now it's just kind of commonplace. Yeah. Like Florida don't want to. And now it's, now we have the wrestling wife as the head of the U.S. Department of Education. So we've come so far. We've come so far.
Certain things I just be like, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, yeah, it's almost like a ponder, like,
and it does kind of escape us a little bit as our kids have aged out of the system. Mine almost, yours is out.
She's definitely.
And so I feel like if our kids were younger, we would be up in arms. Maybe that's what you say, up in arms.
No, I don't say that.
That's not it.
But I'm like, nope. But it will definitely be something that would be extremely overwhelming. I think for me, being a mother,
the type of mother you are,
with all of the experience and knowledge and research that I have today.
Right.
When I had her back then,
yes,
I didn't have a lot of the information that I have now. And then also too, you know, when you're young, I gave birth to Lyric when I was 21 years old. Mm-hmm. So 21, as much as yes, that is a adult. Mm-hmm. It still was little girl mentality.
Yeah, you're a baby adult.
Thoroughly. And then I'm now engulfed into a big girl responsibility. So you're literally learning on the job. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now that I have done my due diligence, understand, experience motherhood, et cetera, now I can actually say, oh no, there's so many things that I would have done differently if I would have had the information and had the, you know, the wealth of, or just even the ability to be comfortable to be a little different in a sense.
My bad.
I mean, I
was just shifting positions. Please continue.
Yeah, please continue. Excuse us. But just definitely the ability to be comfortable to be different instead of actually trying to conform. Because I think that to a certain extent, as a ignorant young lady and mother and new to that position, I was more or less trying to conform to what I saw. Oh no, well, I remember my girl, you know, when she gave birth, you know, blah, 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 blah. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like constantly trying to compare to what you saw, you know what I'm saying? Instead of really going in, you know what I'm saying, within and allowing yourself to really make executive decisions about what you really feel is best. That's a hard thing to do, especially when you're a single mother.
And at that age, you can only do what you've seen and what you know. So
exactly.
At any moment, you're only doing what you know how to do.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
I mean, would you like to try again with a new baby?
You know what? I just said this to someone.
Not that the old baby is bad.
No,
she's very delightful.
Let me say what I always say. I'll be like this, honey. A do-over is needed. Do-over. Because I know so much more. And it's literally like, no, listen, my daughter is really top notch. Like, she really is the sweetest girl. And that's something that I truly pray that she just keeps, because that was me. Extremely sweet, extremely bubbly, and hi, I want to be your friend, girl. I love them shoes, you cute. Like, that was me until I got into that world, and it was like this. Nah, girls, it was heavy. Girls didn't like me, and it was because I was very, very bubbly. But then, you know, people underestimated that. I come from brothers. I'm the baby.
So they tried to fight you?
I come from 3 older siblings, you know what I'm saying? And a daddy. Like, hands is what I got.
Okay.
But, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
mark that down. Hands is what she got.
I mean, let's be clear. But the thing of it is that I hate it. I don't want to fight you.
Right.
That was, and I remember my brothers and them used to always laugh at me. Like, man, they used to be like this. Why? Like, I mean, talking about girls would be pulling up, trying to, I'm like, why y'all want to jump me? You want to jump me? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, we do. And my brothers and them used to laugh because they knew, like, I could tag all of y'all. But I think I had developed like a fear of fighting.
Why?
I think it's because we were trained. Like, my daddy, you know, used to have us in the backyard, like,
sparring.
Yeah, so it was like
the Roman times.
And he, you know, they were always just teaching us is just to defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I just did not want to fight. And I would always get bullied because I just didn't want to fight. And so people took that as like, oh, she is sucker, so we can, try to bully her. Until, you know what I'm saying, one day we got into the bathroom and beat the girl in the head, you know what I'm saying?
Because you want to do it in private. You like to take it to the back room.
I didn't want to fight at all. I'm trying to use the bathroom. Why 5 of y'all in the bathroom want to fight me? And I'm over here trying to be your friend.
Right.
Anyway, but I don't even know how we got to. How the hell did we get to that?
Do you want to do over with a new baby?
Yeah, because I was just saying in the sense of just what you don't know.
That was an interesting tangent.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we went from left to right real fast. Anyway, yes, possibly I do want a new kid with a husband.
I do not. I don't. I'm done. I mean, it's a novel idea for me. I'll play with your baby.
You know what? Let me say that. I would think that that's too. It's might be a novel idea because it's like, yeah, but honey, no, in no capacity.
We're forgetting like all of the
things,
tribulations,
honey,
the trials,
the trials.
Now it would be nice to have a baby like in pure, like real love and partnership.
I think that's what I'm, more or less of like.
And I was on that for a minute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But thinking about it, like I'm trying to move around.
Yes, we over here trying to get to the bag, and be a part of the things.
Yeah,
so we can be busting and move, so we can leave legacies for these children,
right?
For these kids that we do have.
Yeah, and then they will likely, possibly, maybe have their own children that we can pour into knowledge and money. Here, have some money. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, come here.
Let me give you.
Get some money.
Hold on. Here you go.
Rich in this bag.
Rich in this bag. 500. You get 1,000. You get 1,000. Everybody, all the children get 1,000.
Won't that be amazing?
Yeah. That's what we're done for. So, stick with us because, honey, we trying to make it happen.
Which is funny and interesting. We started off talking about babies and children, as... we talked last night that that we would discuss today. Yeah. The experience of being
a caregiver
of your caregiver. Right now, I'm in my 40s and my mother's in her late 60s. She's experiencing dementia and, cognitive decline generally. And it's been like a crazy ride because, this started, I would say 2023. It began this journey of me becoming her caregiver, and it took it forced me to grow a lot. Like probably I was in that process. But when you have that boop, I guess when the flower opens up or the bud sprouts on the plant, or like when the baby like boop pops out, the head pops out of the womb.
She keeps saying boop.
Yeah, keep saying boop.
No.
And or never mind. I was gonna say when the poop comes. No, okay, no.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, just when you push out a little bit of newness, new growth, right? Like new growth, like a guy. Okay. Analogies. I think in pictures.
I do too. That's why literally why we started like being super, like I'm telling you, because we be understanding each other. Yeah. Like we both speaking like visuals.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Very visual. What I'm getting at is my relationship between me and my mother has been staticky since I was a teenager. Around that time, early teenagehood, when I began to develop my own thoughts and opinions and my own voice, I was starting to, find my voice.
Yeah. And
no, that didn't jive. And it's not that she wasn't supportive and like loving. What it was is,
you think it was early stages of what she's experiencing?
No. Okay. I think it was her need for me to be like an extension of her all the time.
And what do
so
you
when
mean?
I began to become myself, like trying to grow into my own, which we do way before being a teenager. But when it was like inevitable, that moment, you cannot stop, a growing teen from
because they have their own thoughts.
Because when you try to like push that down, you like
they almost kind of bite back.
Yeah,
because it's
or they go deep, they go in, and then they get depressed.
Yeah,
and so
either way,
think that I definitely was like a fighting depressed kid, not fighting in the way of like I'm walking around beating people up. I get what you're
saying. Within,
I'm fighting my mother's like suppression, and it's just it's hard to really put into words because it's very subtle. Because I always say like she was a very nice, loving, giving, nurturing mother, woman, person, but there's like this glitter effect of like
do what I say.
What I now know is subtle abuse, where it's just like it's like a veil of
Can you give us just a very, very simple example, not necessarily too intimate and personal, but maybe just like an example of maybe what that subtle abuse looked like? Because I'm not getting.
Yeah. Now, I was reading this book and I have to finish it, called If He's So Good, Why Do I Feel So Bad? It's like, introducing that topic of subtle abuse to people
and almost manipulation.
Because manipulation, it was like when you're being emotionally manipulated, and that's what it is.
Like what you feel is not what you feel.
That's gaslighting. That's part of it, but that wasn't. I can't say that was my mother particularly, but it was her neediness. She needed me to be like an emotional. Like she kind of like fed off of. It's kind of like a vampiric type of thing. That's why it's so hard to describe. And to describe a particular incident or situation is hard because it was just mixed in with everything. So when somebody is now she didn't do this, but the best way that I can illustrate it is when somebody is always like talking out the side of their mouth at you, like, well, you can't do that. Like, oh, that's cute, but she ain't gonna, everybody ain't gonna be looking at her like, or like I have a friend whose mother, now this is not the subtle abuse, but just an example, hard line example. When your mother or somebody close to you puts you in a talent show, allows you to enter a talent show, they don't expect you to win, because when you win, they say, oh, you can't have, the prize is like, I get to travel and do these things. Oh, I didn't expect you to win. You can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah. So you supported me being in this thing, but you just told me you didn't expect me to win. And then when I win, it's not celebrated. It's pushed to the side.
That's what I was going to say. So what is the response to the win?
It's just it's just a dismissal, like, you know what I mean?
I can't think of what terminology that.
Yeah. So like that's not specific to my experience,
in that concept,
you can kind of feel how that would make you feel.
Yeah. You know what I just thought about?
It's like a slighting. You know what I'm saying? My mother was very worrisome. She was very negative and very kind of like down. Like I would be excited about things and she would be like, no, like, you sure you want to do that? Or, Jason, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or maybe you want to do this, like that.
Okay, well, let's talk about that because I remember lyrics saying something to me to that effect. Like she, in her teenage years, it was something that she was saying was like, you're very negative, And I was like, you know, and I try to hear her, you know what I'm saying, when she tells me things. So I was like, well, in what way am I being negative? And she kind of gave me an example almost like that. Like, I don't know how much you're really supporting me. And I was like, okay, instead of me, you know, dismissing her emotions to that, I tried to really open up myself to really be very conscious and aware of what I was saying. I'm not saying this is your experience, but in the conversation, I can just say that I remember, relate is that in the conversation that we did have eventually to certain aspects, what I noticed with her is that, because I don't believe this is probably what you experienced, but when she was explaining this to me, it said, you don't like the fact that there is another thought there in what you want to do. I'm not, as your guardian, so I am your number one supporter. Like, I love you more than anything else, more than myself. Like, I am going to help you get to wherever you want to be. But I am a realist. I'm not trying to diminish your dreams. It's never been, you know, Mom, I want to do this. And it's like, you're not great at that. You can't do that. It's more or less of, how realistic is this goal for you? If you tell me you want to be and I'm giving an example, you tell me you want to be a clothing designer, and I'm giving that just off of strictly what we just watched, right? I want to be a clothing designer. Like, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, great. Let's go get you a sewing machine. Let's put you in some classes, all of the things. And you like, yeah, no, I don't want to go to class. Yeah, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Every opportunity that comes is like, yeah, no. As a parent, when you do know, because I think you know your children, it's like, how realistic is this for you? Because I'm putting in.
I mean, that's different from.
And that's why I said.
Completely being like,
you can't. Yeah. Can't and that's why I was just trying to like bring up the fact of like that. Yeah. You know, like, okay.
Yeah, that there's levels to it, right?
Levels to it. Yeah.
So, I just.
Because I was like, dang, I'm like, am I doing that? Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, oh my God. Because she said that. And so I don't want you to feel that way.
I mean, like, with that particular type of scenario, yeah, like, you're not gonna keep like
pouring for stuff and
you're not, you just every time you want to pick up something and then I give you all the things to support you and then you just put it down. So like, yeah, if you want to do something, like, I go do it. Yeah, you go do it.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Okay.
And so, but my experience with my mother like led me to be even more independent. Because I'm like, I'm going to do what I want to do, regardless, because I valued her opinion.
Got you.
I wanted her support. I wanted that. And when I didn't get it, I just, in a way, gave it to myself and was just like, I'm going to just figure it out and do what I need to do. So, and a lot of that she did, I feel like now in retrospect it was a way of control to keep things safe for her. Because I think my mother, now I know more about her mental, emotional health history. We all create this safety within ourselves for, to keep us feeling safe in the world. We do that in a number of ways. And sometimes we do it we use our kids in that effort.
Whoever's around.
So when, so that was like her wounded place playing out in the way that she raised me.
Okay.
And so, some of it like suppressed in that control, like it suppressed like some parts of who I am that have now, that are like pushing out. I can't even help it. Now
just rising and just spilling out.
Yeah. And which is good. This is positive.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because here we are now. Like I was the shyest kid. I'm still pretty shy.
Yeah.
but always loved to perform. But I never felt I was good enough. And a lot of that came from kind of osmosis from my mother. And we'll get into like the caring for, being the what did I say, caregiver, right?
Of the caregiver.
But there's just like some context to like how much I had to like shift my perspective of her from mother to person. Like I felt like I had done that, but I really, like, I had taken a few steps, but this moment in my life and helping her, having to become this role, step into this role for her, like I had to really, like, I had to shoot up the ladder. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I've always loved being a performer, but my confidence was lacking.
Okay.
And part of that, I feel like my mother is a big personality, a big voice. And I think, and people have told me like they would watch how me and her interacted, and they would see like she was kind of like, you know, tamping me down, like making me be quiet. Okay. And stuff like that. So now I'm like, you know, I'm in my 40s and I'm discovering this. I'm realizing these things, and then also just personally growing as a person.
Yeah.
And discovering things about myself. I'm sure you are too, you know, at this age. And so, but the growth part, right? So now I'm in the role of taking care of her. She's having difficulties. This is 2023. You know, she says, TC, I need to leave my apartment. Now at this time we are like, I have put up such a wall where my mother is calling me. It could be like 5 times a day.
And you're not answering?
I'm not answering because she don't want she'd be like, can you call me? Oh, something minor. Like I just want, or it could be just like, I just wanted to talk to you. I'm like, why you keep calling me? And it was just like, and then, okay, I'm going on a tangent, but I want to stay on track. But I mentioned this earlier, this neediness, like this constant, like need for, she needed me to, I was like the cotton ball in the wound of whatever it is. All right. So anyway, she's like, I need to leave my apartment. And I thought, you know, my mother had schizophrenia because she was seeing people and she was very paranoid. She worked for a government agency and she thought that they were coming after her. And because she was getting basically what she saw as like free money because she wasn't working, but she had injuries from doing her job. And so she felt like they were going to do everything they could to keep her from getting this money. Okay. So she became a bit delusional and paranoid about people in her life and her environment being placed there. Like it's a government plot.
Yeah.
And so I thought she was schizophrenic.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, but come to find out after, you know, she signs herself out of her lease. So where you going to go? I don't know. Well, I can't have you out on the street.
Right.
Okay. So you're going to come and live with me. All I got is a living room. You can stay there. She, you know, gets to a point where it's unmanageable, her behavior. Now, you know, she's not hitting people. She's just being disruptive and just, it's untenable. My son is being highly affected. He's screaming at her. I'm screaming at her. I'm like, you need help. You need help. She's like, I'm not crazy. I don't have schizophrenia. And what are y'all talking about? And she's, you know, so eventually I have to push her out of my house and she goes to the shelter. Very traumatic. And then, but the thing about it is, sorry, this is a long story, but she is a resilient woman. And even in whatever was, whatever I thought she was going on in her head, she was handling herself fine. She's like, all right, fine. Like I know that, you know, sometimes basically her attitude was sometimes you got to go to the bottom to get to where you need to be. And she felt like she was financially handicapped. So she did what she had to do. So then from the shelter, she figured out how to get an apartment for seniors. And because she was worried, she was really had a lot of anxiety about her financial situation. I didn't know. And she wasn't communicating that to me. And then whatever else is going on, you know,
coupled in.
And so, and it was very sad and hard and emotional for me to see her in that situation. But I got to think about me and my child and my well-being, and her being in our house was just completely throwing everybody off. Very chaotic. So then, she's in the apartment. She's doing her best to manage. I think it's a little wacky, but she's doing it, right? You know, I'm making sure whatever the bills get paid, her rent gets paid, she's getting her Social Security, and then she keeps wandering. And then eventually she don't know how to use her keys. And then she's like talking to people and she's coming off weird, and they're calling me because I'm on the, you know, contact list. And, you know, I'm like, you know, and I'm working. I got to work. I got to take care of this kid and all my other stuff that I'm going through and my healing process and this relationship and my career goals, etc. You know, I'm still busy in radio and all of that. Then she wanders, like for the third time, she gets picked up by EMS, just walking and being lost. And somehow, you know, divine timing, they find her safely. I get a call from the hospital. Your mom's here. Okay. Like the third or fourth time, the doctor is like, she can't be by herself. So I had already been in the process, and this is 2023. This is 2024 now. I had already been in the process
of 2025.
No.
Oh, in at that story. Time. Oh,
I know. It's a long story. Like this.
It's 2025.
Long story.
But no, it's now going to help somebody to get an understanding.
So now 2024, I'm researching places for her. Where can she go to get the help that she needs? Because I already gotten her into the home health aides to help her with her medicine and her laundry and cleaning and cooking. She kept cooking and like burning and smoking things. And but then also this was the thing, she kept saying that there were people in her apartment. And I'm like, this lady is sick. She got schizophrenia. Although she wasn't bothering anybody with her visions, the things that she was seeing, it was just, she didn't feel safe. And she would complain about it to me all the time. I put cameras up in the apartment for her, right? And also for me, I could watch her and see what's going on. I could talk to her, because then it was like, I didn't realize it, but now I can see she was declining in those moments, but I didn't know, because I'm in my stuff and I'm barely kind of seeing what's going on, because I'm in my emotions about how I feel about her. And so I'm relating to her from my trauma with her and my, you know, that anger. I have a lot of anger inside of me that I'm expiating in these years.
Expiating. Listen, honey, one thing we always educate.
Yes. Okay. And so I put the cameras up. I'm like, Ma, like, I understand. You see them, we don't see them. Okay. I had finally got to that point, because at first I'm like, there ain't nobody here.
That ain't helping.
Never. So I'm like, all right, you know, I don't see them, but I know you see them,
and we respect that.
Yeah. Are they bothering you? That's what it was. She kept trying to get help with the people. She would go to the management office. There's people. This lady moved her kids into my apartment. There's a whole day coming in. It was crazy. It was crazy. You can laugh.
It's not.
It was wild AF. So, I just kind of accepted it as that's her reality. So then, okay, the last time she wandered, she gets picked up. Nope. April, on her birthday, 2024, she gets, the police come because she keeps calling the police. She keeps calling the police about the people in her apartment.
Okay.
The police say, why don't you come with us and, we'll work it out or whatever. And they had to trick her and she felt tricked ultimately, but they got her into the mental hospital.
Okay.
Where she got evaluated. Shockingly to me, she's not really exhibiting signs of schizophrenia. What?
Something's happening here.
But she is, showing... she could have dementia. And we're not doing the testing to know, but we want you to make sure she gets this test.
Okay.
So the test showed, we kind of determined the cognitive decline. It's a battery of tests.
Yeah.
Scans and then, numbers and letters and all that stuff that she had to go through. So yeah, she's got dementia.
I was about to say, so ultimately,
and all that chaos in my house,
it was dementia.
And I felt bad about how I treated her. I thought she was just a stubborn, crazy lady. My stubborn, crazy mother who has been like this all the time, and she's just selfish and doesn't listen and doesn't care and has no awareness, which is all that was true.
Dementia.
And who knows when it started?
Yeah, because I was just gonna ask that, with dementia, I know that they actually really don't have a lot of research to understand the actual root of how that began or begins. And the reality is that you really can't pinpoint when it actually started. You could probably see when it really took over.
Yes.
But you can't.
And that makes total sense.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you can't really say this is when it started. So that's a really, really, unfortunate disease and horrible disease, with because I really feel like, with cognitive decline and just cognitive understanding, that's really one of the things that we have least researched.
Yeah, because unless we're just cutting people's brains open when they're alive. And that's
the thing. And even when they started the lobotomy aspect of things, it wasn't to really understand.
No, it was to control their behavior.
Control people's behavior. And so it really, this is an unfortunate story. And I know that you have been doing top-notch work as a caregiver for her to
do
really
my best.
Do the best you can, because that's all we can do, right? I just really hope that as we continue on, we get more people to understand. Dr. Amen is I love him.
I've been listening to him for years.
He is top-notch. He really helped me over the past 3 years on raising her, literally, because he talks a lot about raising mentally strong children. He talks about being a parent and researching the brain. He talks about the fact that there is so many doctors that don't have zero clue of what is going on in the brain.
And how can you be a pediatrician and not know how the brain evolves?
He speaks about that on even with a lot of psychologists and therapists. He was like,
they don't know.
They have zero. They have no.
So what are they teaching in these schools? What are these advanced degrees telling?
So it speaks to
what is the thesis about? If not the brain,
all of it is a theory. All of it is theory instead of actual real research. They will go and research and do and search, and archaeologists go find and cut open and dissect it and put it under the microscope. We do everything with certain things. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to that brain,
you can only go so far. There's limits.
The thing of it is, we have the ability to, but we don't. Because the reality of it is that we don't necessarily really want to create a lane where you can be mentally healthy. If
girl, up,
boom. Okay, because the reality of it is that if we can continue to keep the sick mentally sick, this is an undiscovered situation up here. And it's really the source of everything we do. Your brain tells you to lift your right arm. Mm-hmm. Your brain tells you that my stomach hurts.
And well, we know now, though, more and more that the gut tells the brain what to tell the body to do.
But look, even more and more, we realize it's still the brain because
giving the directions.
It's giving the directions of what the gut is actually, because all of our organs work together.
Yeah. So all of it
is a system. Yeah. But guess what they do? You need to go to the neurologist. You got to go to the cardiologist. You have to go to the urologist. Yeah. You have to go to the dermatologist. Yeah. You have to go to the ophthalmologist. And none of those doctors, optometrists. You have to go to all of these different things, and none of these people are working together on the entire system.
So you talked about Dr. Amen. Yes. I love Dr. Hyman, who is actually he's a Cleveland Clinic doctor.
Okay.
I mean, now he's like everywhere. He don't even live here anymore, but he's still affiliated with the hospital.
Okay.
But he developed their, integrative health program, which is integrative, where the brain doctor, the heart doctor, the lung doctor, they're talking to each other to help this person be healthy versus, you can't breathe. Really, all right, let's go get an x-ray. We don't see nothing.
Yep.
Here, take this medicine.
Yep.
They don't ask you. I'll tell, and I've said this probably to you a couple of times. My gastroenterologist, because I have a diagnosis of Crohn's disease, he never asked me, as good as people say he is, he's supposed to be one of the best. And he never asked me, what are you eating?
I was just going to say that. I know he ain't never asked you nothing about what you eat.
I'll give him credit for asking me about my mental health, but he only asked me that because I told him that my flare-ups are triggered by emotional stress.
Thoroughly. And that's the thing. That's okay. So when you brought up Dr. Hyman and the fact of his process in incorporating integrated health, 100%, because we are affiliated with Cleveland Clinic. My daughter is a type 1 diabetic. She was diagnosed at 11 years old. Cleveland Clinic was the one that diagnosed us. We had no idea. I knew something was wrong. Didn't know what was wrong. But,
now that is a research hospital. They will research you and do your thing. Up and down. They don't want you to leave there and say the Cleveland Clinic did not help you.
No. That's what they definitely don't want. What I was going to bring up is the Encompass, because they have the A1C clinic. And so the A1C clinic is an Encompass and integrated health of all the doctors to help with diabetes.
That sounds like constipation clinic too.
So you have the actual endocrinologist.
Yeah.
And then you actually have the dietitian, and then you actually have the actual psychologist. And then and then you I forget somebody else too. So they come in, and so it's literally when we have the A1C clinic days, it's a 3-hour, 4-hour appointment.
Yep.
So you literally are going,
because you got to talk
to every single person. And then most of the time sometimes at the end, they're all collectively in the room together. Yeah. Now, what I learned about with the dietitian, this is no shade to anybody, but this is what I learned about the dietitian, is because as a mother who's learning that her daughter is sick, A1C, we got a diabetes. I don't know what the hell this is, even though I grew up with a sister who is a type 1 diabetic. So I understood about administering insulin and understanding the highs and the lows and what that looks like, and your glucose levels, and making sure all of those different things. I understand that, but I also didn't understand what is diabetes and how is this what is happening.
Right.
So when I started to do my research about the pancreas and whether or not, I'm like, dang, so did the pancreas not work when she was born?
Mm-hmm.
Was it dead then?
Right.
Or was it something I fed her that killed it over time?
Yeah.
Like what was it? So literally in the midst of me having a conversation, shout out to my cousin Tina who lives in Atlanta. She's literally a fertility holistic. She like 17 years in the game of research, learning, becoming certified, all of the things. Talking to her about just natural things we eat started to open up my brain about things she was eating. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, okay, so in the dietitian, in the A1C clinic, and I'm having the conversations with the dietitian about different things that I think or heard research that could possibly help with the actual pancreas, or helping with, you know what I'm saying, her highs and lows. They're not giving me anything.
Right.
They're just kind of really giving me that the food pyramid. I know y'all know about the food pyramid.
Right. Incorrect.
So it's absolute. Listen, the only reason why I knew it was incorrect is because my daughter got diabetes.
Right.
I wouldn't have never known. But that food pyramid is BS. It's BS.
Yeah, it's marketing.
It's marketing.
It's all about money.
And guess who created it? The association, the
USDA.
Yeah, you know, literally
Department of Agriculture.
When they put that stuff in and they this is what it is, and it's like, okay, so I'm having conversations. So literally, I found out that mango leaves are really, really great with glucose levels and helping you bring down your numbers and just kind of sustaining blood sugars.
Yeah.
So I started boiling. I found this company in off Amazon in Sri Lanka.
And this is what year?
This is okay. So Lyric was diagnosed in she was diagnosed in 2017.
Wow.
2018, November of 2020 first. And it's so crazy because my daddy died in November 22nd of 2022. Mm-hmm. But Lyric was diagnosed in November of 2018. And I started finding out all of the things probably like about 2019, 2020. This is like beginning
she was a big kid when you found this out.
Yeah, like when I started changing up what was going on. Yeah, she was diagnosed when she was 11.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
But I didn't find, I didn't go into the things until some
but
years
you didn't.
later.
Yeah, but you didn't know this is what was going on with her. Like as a baby, like as a little kid, like she was a big older kid.
Yeah, no. She didn't have any issues when she was a baby.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I can't say that because she was born premature, coanal atresia. That's another part.
Yeah,
but
her health wise,
she was really healthy.
Yeah,
she was born premature. She had the coanal atresia, where your nose and your mouth meet, and it's not quite open. So she had, a lot of like nasal issues or whatever situation. So she would be really prone to being sick.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that I'm telling you, I'm thoroughly blessed. And I shout out to my mother because she just knows what to freaking do about anything that she's never experienced in life. I'm like, you never experienced this. How do you know what to do? It's just that innate, nurture within her. But she really was like just
the ancestral
it was
knowledge.
Just there. She was just putting me onto game, and she just had no idea. We didn't know she was diabetic or whatever. But also too, my mother raised a diabetic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Daughter,
so exactly.
So yeah, she knew.
So she knew, but you know what I'm saying? It was just other things that I'm just like, how do you know to do this? Anyway, so I didn't know what to do, but over the course of the years, I was like, let me start doing these these research and just get a clarity. Coming to find out about the mango leaves, bought the mango leaves from Sri Lanka. This was in probably 2020. It was probably like 2020, 2019. So started feeding it to her, literally boiling the leaves for like slow simmer for hours, putting them in mason jars. You know what I'm saying? Drink this. It tastes absolutely like nothing. I even drank it. I was like, oh, this might be good for all of us. You know what I'm saying? I just kept drinking it. So making her drink it,
give me some mango leaves. Might stabilize my blood sugar metabolism.
And then the thing
I know you guys won't appreciate when my knees are smaller, but I will.
But she literally, I was giving her this tea, and literally, so we go back because with the A1C clinic, they want you to come every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
By that time,
that's a lot.
So by that time, I was like this. By this time of me actually,
yeah,
okay, right,
yeah.
So by this time of me making these drinks, I'm like, I'm not going every 3 months. Y'all got us coming in, and then you want to keep changing it. You want to change a different insulin. I put a halt to all of that. We're not changing insulin. We're not changing long lasting. We don't need to change the doses. Let me do what I need to do and see where we are.
Right.
Come back almost a year. I can go for a year. I'm like, let's see what I can do. Come back. Now, mind you, your actual A1C number should be between 7. It's like a 7.5. Okay. That's a healthy blood sugar A1C number, okay? When she was diagnosed, Lyric was at a 14.9.
All right.
So we were over, literally, she wasn't even reading on the Richter scale. And no capacity, okay? So we was going every 3 months. Her A1C level was still, it had came down by that time because we're not on insulin. So it was about like 12. You know, we're balancing between like 13 and 12. We're going back and forth from that. Mango leaves a whole year of this, come back, literally her A1C level is a 9. This is
on the mango leaves.
This is a year after drinking this mango leaf tea, being conscious, me on top of her, making sure we're doing the things, all of the things. We come back, literally, I remember when she came in the room, she was like this, so what have we been doing? We've been taking insulin. We are on top of things. Everything is going really, really well. She was like, Mom, her A1C level is 9. She said, I am just so proud. And she's like, I really think that the long lasting is working. Now, mind you, I haven't said anything to them about what I'm doing. So I'm like this, okay, yeah. Boom. Here come the dietitian and all of them come in. So we having a conversation. So I mentioned, you know what I'm saying? Because they're asking me. I said, well, to be all the way honest, I said, we have been drinking mango tea leaves for, you know what I'm saying, for like over a year, about a year now. And the doctor was like, where did you get those from? She was like, and what made, she said, who told you to do that? I said, nobody told me to do it. I said, but, you know, after the research and understanding of what properties it actually provides, it can't hurt to try it. And so literally she was like, okay. She said, we don't recommend a lot of that just because those things are just not tried. She was like, because
you haven't tried them.
She said, she's like, those things are not tried. So we don't want you to get so excited. She was like, but you know, she was like, you are taking insulin. I said, if we wasn't taking insulin, I mean, I think maybe you would be able to realize that. I said, I'm not giving her the insulin. I said, but we're just also taking the mango leaf tea.
Right. And it's working.
And it seems to be working because we were doing exactly what you told us to do for 3 years.
Right. And it wasn't working.
We're still balancing between 13 and 12 of the A1C number.
So they're attributing the success to, finally we have this insulin.
Right. And I'm like, that's BS, because if that's true, you wanted me to change the insulin and the long lasting, and you said a year ago. And I said no.
Right.
So you said it wasn't working a year ago.
Right.
And we needed to change it. And I absolutely said no. Here we are a year later.
She's like, oh wow, it's working.
And I'm like, here we are a year later, and she's so excited and proud about whatever she done prescribed. And I'm just like,
Isn't that amazing? The audacity of the medical establishment, who have no answers and literally no education.
They don't. When it comes down to food, and that's the only reason why I was bringing that up, because what you said is your gastroenterologist, because I just want to kind of make that whole point circle, is the fact that the gastroenterologist, the endocrinologist, and all of the other ologists, they absolutely do not know about food intake. They do not go to school for that. Excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, my apologies.
It's natural. How are we out of, what did that say?
They said it was something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to make that point. Trust your gut. Literally. Eat right.
Yeah.
Everything we do is revolved around what we eat. I think even too with dementia.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can say it because certain things are not good.
One of my good friends told me, and I have to read about this, Sweet and Low.
It's horrible.
Has caused dementia.
It is horrible. I just said that is so okay.
And my mother was an avid
Sweet and Low. Barbara Ann Brown, that's my mommy. I'm talking about the biggest stupid boxes.
Yep.
So literally we argued.
The little pink packets.
We just argued about this. I just went to this lady's house because I go to Costco's and I buy her whatever, whatever she wants.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Something big box or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I need more coffee. Give me a bag of chips, whatever she want, right? So I take it over there. I'm like, Mommy, you still drink using Sweet and Low? I'm like, Mommy, it's horrible for you. And I know it's horrible for you because I remember one day I literally poured a pack of Sweet and Low in my tea because I'm a tea drinker, as you know, T-E-A. Okay. You
better know it.
You better know it. Okay. I'm talking about the first sip. I'm like this. Oh, my head on fire. I'm talking about boom, boom. Boom, boom.
That was the first time you used it?
I think probably when I was a kid because she's been using it since we was kids. Yeah. But for whatever reason, it always had this weird taste to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is something ain't right in this, honey. I never liked it. And it's so crazy because I literally kept telling her, I said, there's something in that Sweet and Low. And it has to be bad for you. So, girl, we gonna come back to y'all for some research on the Sweet and Low.
Apparently, there's a study has been done on Sweet and Low.
I know it
and there's a connection. A seeming connection between Sweet and Low and dementia. And my mother was heavy tea drinker, coffee drinker, and Sweet and Low was the thing. Yep. And so the fact that, because our mothers are the same age. Wait, how old is your mother?
No, my mother's older than your mother.
No, yeah, she's
my mother
older.
Is 74. She'll be 75.
So genetics plays a role. She's been using Sweet and Low all that time.
All that time.
She's of perfect sound mind and body. Yeah. Very healthy. And my mother is quite healthy as well. It's just her brain.
It's just that aspect. And that just speaks to different because everybody's body
is different. Mm-hmm. And of course the life you live.
Yeah. And then of course genetics,
all of it plays a role. Mm-hmm. And so, I know somebody who is the same age as my mother, totally different. My mother is in a nursing home. So back to my point, because I was really getting at, back to the topic of being a caregiver. Why I wanted to talk about this is because I was just so emotional yesterday after visiting her after she had been transferred to a skilled nursing facility, aka long-term care, aka nursing home. Yeah, okay. It's long-term care.
Okay.
And so she'll be, in care, until she doesn't need it anymore.
Or okay.
If she passes away, or if I have the ability to do private, mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I definitely that would be wonderful. I don't know if I would be the one, but I'll make
delegate all of the things.
Okay, so I was just sad because again, she seemed very normal to me in 2023. But when I think about it now, she wasn't.
It wasn't normal. Yeah.
And even I was, I would be so angry with her, and I would be like,
sorry.
What is wrong with you?
What's happening here?
You are insane. I would say to her, you're insane. It was just because the character of my mother was strong, smart, can make everything happen when it needs to happen. She talks about how much she can't do this and can't do that. I know you can, because you always did. So I couldn't understand, TC, can you add this phone? What you mean? Why are you bothering me with this phone? You know how to use a phone? That was my attitude. So to think about that decline from even 2020, and also too, she had gotten into several car accidents because of her vision. She had cataracts. She had cataract surgery. After the surgery, she was still bumping into stuff. So I'm sure that with, you're getting jostled. You're getting jostled. You're already, it was a lot. And she was doing it on her own. She'd been divorced for quite some time. Divorced like before my brother was out of high school. So she'd been kind of on her own
for a year.
And with her kids being of the age to developing their lives as young adults and everything. And it's just been a lot. And so I was just sad yesterday seeing her where it looks like she used to be a very large woman. She had gastric bypass surgery when I was in college. And so she had slimmed down. She really never gained the weight back. But then as a senior, seniors, they get small.
Yeah.
And so she's like she looks frail in comparison, but she's still sturdy. But she's like so thin and she just seems so helpless, and
it was just
but still kind of up here good. Like,
yeah,
she can't take care of herself, but she still know what's going on. And just to see her in this state, it just made me, I just couldn't help but cry. Very emotional. And it was just a sadness, not a hopelessness, just like,
I hate to see you in this
I think state. It's just seeing your parent, the person who took care of you and made, like I said, she made everything happen.
Sorry,
as much as I couldn't stand her, as much as I wanted to run away, there was so much love and care, and she stood up for us. She stood up for us, and that's why I'm compelled to like make sure she's okay,
right?
Even with all of that,
right?
I mean, she wasn't, and people who have gone through worse with their caregivers and their parents, abuse, like physical abuse, and I'll say like she was emotionally abusive, but I don't think that she didn't know that that's what she was doing. But just all of that, like, I was saying to somebody yesterday, like, she was super protective. I remember being in first grade and her going up to the school and screaming at my first grade teacher for not allowing me to go to the bathroom when I needed to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
And so, like, to have, somebody of that nature, and then to see her today, and it's like, and then to realize, like, now I'm that for her. I have to advocate for her. And it's tough. Like, it's tough because you have to rely on, and, we felt this as parents constantly. You got to rely on other people to make sure that your child, this life that you're responsible for, like, is okay. Like, you have to entrust responsibility to these strangers. And that's the hard part of this stage of getting the help, because I can't take care of her in my house. I can't be there day in and day out, moment to moment. So I have to trust that these people are doing that. I get to the place, she's in a wheelchair, in a gown, and a diaper, and that's it. So immediately I want to start screaming. But, okay, let me just ask questions. So I asked the questions. The nurse was perfectly pleasant. And then you have, I don't trust nobody. I do trust everybody, but then I have to do both. Like, I got
discernment.
Yeah,
it's imperative.
Are you scamming me? You smiling in my face, talking about, oh, your mom's. Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
they can say anything.
They will, and they will.
So, but I just have to be. Hold up.
Diligent,
and
oh, we running out of battery. Where we at?
We're at an hour. We're at an hour anyway.
Alright.
Yep. Because so we probably should just wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thanks, friends.
Okay, can we see?
See who? What did I do? I moved something?
Yeah, you moved something, but it's okay. Don't keep getting up. Let's just wrap it up.
Oh,
It's okay.
Oh, there's the camera.
Well,
thanks,
let's
friends.
do this. We appreciate you guys tuning in today. Today was a very, very important conversation. I think we're going to continue, but we're going to definitely continue because we want to definitely get some opinions and ask some questions. And there's so many different things that need to be known, that needs to be known, excuse me, when it comes down to caregiving. So shout out to you guys for caregiving your parents, for caregiving your family members, friends,
and yourself.
Mm-hmm. You know, you're not alone. You know, if you have any questions or concerns, please follow me on TikTok at your personal healthcare advocate.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
That is really, really true, because that I do have a whole page that focuses on gearing up towards what questions to ask, how, what, when, where, so we can be self-sufficient and be able to create a community to be able to just help us navigate through that, because it's trying. And all the time, you can't always just go with what the doctor say. So
yeah, and I am on TikTok at TCZTEE_CEEZY. Yeah, I'm still fat. Look at my niece, but
she gets on my nerve, y'all.
Because you know, we just have to be honest.
Okay, honey.
Because
a year from now, she's gonna be like this. Oh my God, look at my knees; it's just so thin.
Right, and I'll be like, I need some coconut milk or something.
Shout out to you guys for the TNT podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please join us next time for more details. Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Okay. Boop, boop, boop,
boop, boop, boop. Okay. There it is.